Lesson 1.5 The Information Overload. After years of producing vast flows of conversation, an enormous amount of user-generated content, it has become clear for all that it's impossible to interpret such a vast quantity of information and available data. It's the information overload paradox, where having loads of information is like having none at all, as it inevitably experienced when visiting digital platforms. What has been less clear to date is how the process for managing information overload has developed. What has not been and is not possible for humans is today intelligible artificially by algorithms and machines. They make the use of wealth of information manageable for exploiting the asymmetry better and analyzing it so as to extract precise indication geared above all towards predicting the future. The mobilizing contextually produced data that emerge from the present. A present so pressing as to be valid, as in the case of snapshot, for the time of a single viewing. The mobilizers have those data at their disposal, historicizing them to reconstruct the past, to understand and steer the future, or more precisely, to understand and steer our future. The repository of records is central for mobilizer because it forms the basis for the predictive processing of future strategies targeting the single and set demobilized users involved and or involvable. For it's on the basis of the whole set of recorded data that algorithms can develop the capacity to predict the future behavior of users. But even here, certain specifics emerge. In contrast with the past, data processing today serves not only to shape our interest and our choice on the basis of a simple, tried and tested manipulative intention, to inducing us to purchase existing goods and services. They serve to enable, in a new way, the possibility of predicting us, our interest and our future choices will develop. This is particularly important passage, constituting an element that is barely considered in studies of the use of big data, yet fundamental to understanding the opportunities given by the digital transformation and for the future prospect our economic and social system. Focus and attention exclusively on the present and ignoring the future is a major interpretive bias, found not only in the action of individuals, but also in those of institutions tackling the challenge of the digital transformation. Witnessing that fact are the analysis and responses actioned by institutions in addressing the digital transition. The transformative process are indeed already underway, as are the extraordinary series of major impacts that we face in practice, which constantly affect themselves on our experience of life. However, to focus our attention on the contingent constitutes a serious error of approach. While we find out how the digital transformation is manifested, it is necessary to assess at the same time its medium and long-term impact, if we are to avoid falling into the mistake of believing that our choices can be put off to the future, under the belief that there is margin to maneuver. in purposing our action. It's essentially to have an open look at both these levels in order to identify from the outset, in spite of the overriding difficulties and uncertainties, the right interpretive plan, the direction in which to steer our action, and sustainable measures for implementation. The interpretive criticality can be attributed to how difficult it is so to find direction within the framework of complexity, characterizing the challenge that faces us. What may appear clear and evident when looking at a specific dimension of the phenomenon. For a single point of view, it's soon called into question and reveals its lack of sustainability when we adopt new perspective to observe and analysis.